I'm Russell Walsh. I am one of the founders and presently co-president of the CJPA, or Canadian Jigsaw Puzzle Association, and this is my first time at Worlds. Very exciting.
My name is Devon Donaldson. I am the 2023 Canadian Individual Champion, and this will be my second time at the Worlds.
So what is the puzzle community like in Canada? Like, do you have many competitions? You just mentioned the association. How old is the association, and what does the association provide for the community as well?
Well, we started it, and what happened was I came across a Canadian Jigsaw page, which was very inactive. Nothing happened. Nobody would ever respond when I posted on it. And so I managed to find out who ran it. And with the help of Alfonso, he set us up with a WhatsApp group. And Valerie Coit from the U.S. was part of that group. And she was huge plus for giving us information on what to do moving forward. And so we started with a Facebook page, just sent out messages to all the swap groups we could find, and it started to grow. And then it was like, now what do we do? So it started growing. We got up to about 350, 400 people, and just so you know, I live in Thailand for the winter, not in Canada, even though I am Canadian. But so I came up with an idea through a local company who is a very good puzzle company in Canada. I don't know if you've heard of them, a company called Puzzles Canada.
Oh yes. I have. I've ordered puzzles.
And so they had their website said they would ship a puzzle anywhere in Canada for $7. And so I messaged him and said, I would like to try an online competition. I convinced 10 people to enter it and said, would you send them a puzzle and maybe eat the shipping? And he said, sure. So I got people to email me $25, and we sent out 10 puzzles, and it went off without a hitch. And so it was like, we're off and running.
How long ago did you do this?
We started that, that's this 2024, it would have been right at the end of 2021, I would believe it was. Yeah, I was in Thailand, and we started that, and then as it started to move forward, and we started running some more competitions through the beginning of 2022, and then our initial founders group that Alfonso had set up for us had boiled down to just two of us, myself and Amanda Belanger, who unfortunately is a school teacher, so she cannot get time off to be here. But so her and I were basically looking after things, or kind of managing these online competitions, and then we got this brainwave that it would be so cool to have an in-person competition. And why did we want to do it? Because I had never been in one, and I was dying to be in a live competition. You're laughing because guess what? You don't get in it.
This is the same reason I started everything.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so then she said, well, let's try it. Puzzles Canada, who's in Georgetown, Ontario, which is just outside of Toronto. They said, well, there's a nice community hall here. Why don't you look at that? So I drove down. I'm about an hour and a half away. I drove down, looked at it. It was perfect. And then they said, well, if you want it, they said, we'll pick up the cost on the hall. So we were like, yes, things are falling into place.
Nice.
And so, but we were nervous about doing a Canadian championship because we were just so new, so young, and we didn't want, Canada's a big country. It's like all of a sudden, well, if the championship's in Ontario, and if you know Canada at all, the rest of Canada complains that Ontario gets everything.
We have the same issue
Yeah.
with this.
So we called it the Great Canadian Puzzle Challenge, and like I said, we ran one-day event. 500-piece puzzles, a single, pairs, and a team, and then we took the top 20 from the individual in the morning and had a championship round. And I'll let Devon tell you about that.
Did you go to that?
That's the one.
That's the one.
Was
that
that
your first one?
That was my first one. It was a week after Worlds. Yeah, so my first in-person competition ever was here last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then a
And
week
when
later, it
from
was
that-
at Russ's event. Yeah. So it was quite the week.
So your second time around was the Canadian
Yeah.
And then you emerged the Canadian champion.
So I call her a Canadian champion. We know she is a Canadian champion, even though we were nervous to call the competition that. Well, part of it was we had no idea if it would even work. we didn't know if it would flop, would people come or anything. So we didn't want to call it a Canadian championship, have it fall flat in his face. And then so we thought,
Did you have another championship this year, 2024 year?
yeah.
Yeah.
Then it was Devon. Well, a lot had to do with Devon because she just said, I am so beat, I am so wiped, I just come from Worlds. And she's, is there any way we can get this in front of Worlds?
That
So-
makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, so, but in Canada, you have what is known as the May Long Weekend, which is the Victoria Day Long Weekend, and that is sort of the unofficial start of summer. So to try to organize anything
It's like
after
Memorial Day
that,
for us.
that's right.
Yeah.
To try to organize anything after that through to the fall, forget
Yeah,
it.
good luck.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we needed
Yeah.
to stay. So we had two options. We either ram it through and we do it in 6 months, or we've got to go a year and a half. And it was so funny because when we left that first competition and everybody was gone, it was Amanda and I in a parking lot. We were both wiped, and she said, I don't know if I can ever do this again.
Surprise.
10 o'clock the next morning, she phoned me with a schedule. And she's amazing. She does so much of the organizing. I always say there's when you want to create big things, you have people who dream about it, have dreams and visions, and then you get other people who just actually get to work and make it happen. And that's Amanda. She's the one who gets to work. I have all these big dreams and ideas, but she's the one that really pulls it together. But so no, that's kind of where we're at with the CJPA. Well, we've had another one since then, but I'll let it.
You made that
Yep.
2 days, the second round,
Yes.
which I thought was very
Yes, that way. Yeah,
successful.
we went into
Yeah.
May, and so we thought, okay. So we went to 2 days because what happened at the first one customer came up, or one competitor came up to us and said, we drove from an hour and a half away and we did a 500-piece puzzle in pairs, and that's it. And it's like, that's it? Like, this just seems like such a letdown. So we thought, well, we need more than one round.
Yeah.
So then we decided, let's try 2 days. So when we did it this past May in 2024, we did we started on Saturday and Sunday. We had 2 rounds of qualifying and then one final in each. Our first year we had seats for 112, so we sold 112 individual, 56 pairs, so each pair at their own table, and then I think we did 40 teams. Then we grew to 192 individual, and I think we were 200. I can't remember now. It was our pairs double. We were 112 for pairs because we had double rounds, and then we still stayed at the 40 teams. We kept watching yours in the U.S. and it was like, the only thing left is teams. Everything else is sold out, and yes, we followed the exact same pattern.
Yeah.
It was about 3 weeks before they finally sold out teams, but it worked out well. But we also went to 1,000-piece puzzles. We did the individual was all 500s.
Yep.
The other thing, working with Ravensburger, which you obviously work with as well, they brought puzzles from Europe for us, so they were not North American sold. Yeah, so we had European publications, so people had not seen them before, so that was huge. And so we did, it was all individual all 500. The pairs was 500 on the qualifying, but 1,000 piece on the final. And the teams was 1,000 piece on qualifying and final. So that everybody felt that they got a lot more. Some people felt they had too much.
Can't please everybody.
But no, we're very happy with Ariston. Very happy.
So, how many contests do Canadians have access to? Like, are there online contests? I mean, you obviously have the nationals.
We have now, this year in July we ran a Western Regional, which we used Cobble Hill as our sponsor. They supplied all the puzzles, and Linda Maxwell, and she's been she is wonderful. And now that the CJPA has sort of grown more in that, I feel that part of our mandate is that we have to support Canadian puzzle companies along with.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody would love if you did Ravensburger, all the time. But we did in July, we did a Western Regional in Edmonton, which would have been sort of north of Montana, and that one it was a little bit harder sell, but part of it was because I think we did it in the middle of summer, which we realized was a mistake. We have another one coming up on October 19th in Montreal, which this year is being tagged our Eastern Regional, and then they will feed into nationals. Our goal is to create 4 different regionals eventually, then have them feed into nationals.
Yeah, I think Australia was just talking about how they, just this year, they have a contest for each of their territories.
Yeah, the 10
And so
territories.
just before last year, they were missing 2, I think.
Yeah.
So I feel like everybody's
Finding the same structure.
finding it, yeah.
But the US is hard because we have 50 states.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, you can only do so much. Because I know we spent quite a bit of time talking with Val after your last one, because we're bursting at the seams at the venue we're at. We're doing it one more time, and even we want to go to a live stream, but I'm looking at all the equipment, everything here this morning, and we just don't. And as much as even, we have people that have even offered to sponsor it for us.
Wonderful.
We're just,
Yeah,
we're
that's
unfortunately,
impressive.
we're going to have to pass. The good thing is that following yours, we go, well, we know you did this for the U.S. so we get we're following your lead where we can. But it's
We still growing. We also outgrew our venue pretty much.
So Devin might know more about this, but is it just the Canadian Association that organizes contests, or there are more like local breweries that do it? Like I know Sarah does puzzles, does it
Yeah.
in breweries, and then there's also Pacific Puzzlers in San Diego that do it in breweries.
There
as
are
well.
some opportunities for that, and they're scattered across the country. Within Toronto, where I live, we have a little game cafe that hosts pairs, speed puzzling. They have 4 locations, I believe, and they kind of alternate weekends around there. So you could puzzle every weekend if you wanted to, which is great. And they use, the ones I've been to use 300-piece puzzles, so it's actually quite quick. And then you can enjoy a beverage, play a game, and it's actually creating a nice little community. There's also some downtown Toronto, just Monday night social puzzling that happens throughout the year, which is really cool too. It's down
So it is
stairs
grind.
from my office, which is really convenient, selfishly. But one of the cool things the CJPA has done for the fall, and maybe you did it for May or June as well, but you used to do a pairs and an individual comp once per month, and now
Yeah.
they've added a 3rd because they sell out within minutes.
12 minutes.
Yeah.
First
Wait,
up.
online?
Yeah, we do
online
online.
ones. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, so that's been helpful
Yeah.
to grow that. Yeah.
That's the interesting part is I normally moderate the online competitions, but as
Didn't
I
you do it
mentioned,
when you were here?
yes,
Yeah.
actually, I on Saturday, I got off the flight, through Frankfurt to Madrid, landed in Madrid, had a couple hours to shower, clean up, turn on the computer at 5 p.m. and did back-to-back online competitions till 10 o'clock
There you
at
go.
night.
It's amazing.
With it, I actually fell asleep a couple times in the second, but
Did they know?
I was on mute, so because they probably would have. Because I think I do
Well, they
snore.
do now.
but normally the winter competitions I do them from Thailand, so I will do them from. I will. Now we're doing 2 in one day for this year because we've moved up to 3. So I'll take the first one, and we got somebody in Canada doing the second one. So I'll do the first one, which starts at midnight. So which is not. And then I go to bed at 2:30 or whatever. I don't have to do it right through till 5:30 in the morning. So,
yeah.
but it's what you do to get things going and to build an association. You got to do these things, but
And we also have access to Jonathan Clough's speedpuzzling.com
Yes,
stuff in
with
Canada too, which
With
is
an
great.
extra shipping fee, right?
Oh, it's yeah. We try to do bulk buys if we can. Yeah. So my team who were competing here, we got some of his August puzzles, the teams and the pairs, and the individuals, just for fun. And we got together in person one weekend and practiced doing those comps live with him, which was
Oh, that's so.
it was great practice. It really was.
Have you done any of the? Because I know speed puzzling EU also ships internationally.
I have just learned this.
Yeah, and they do bulk buys too.
See, we're gonna have access to that in Canada now.
Thank you so much.
The
Yeah.
biggest problem we have in Canada is it's like Australia. It's a very big country with not a lot of people,
Yeah.
and shipping is incredibly expensive. Like
Yeah.
you'd be blown away if you found out what we have to pay to ship something compared to what you get in the U.S. But because you have much larger populations,
That's
but
true.
yeah, so that makes it tough, and it even makes it, and even our choices for flying east to west was only two major airlines. That makes it tough. Flights are expensive, so that's why we're trying to create regionals, because the people out west are going, what about us? But yet we don't have enough you have California, which is huge. You can,
Right.
of course, that's where your nationals have been held, but we don't have enough. We're going to miss the bulk of our puzzlers if we try to take it. We basically have to leave it in southern Ontario in order to get the most people every year. So our only other way to get to the rest of the country is to create regional competition. So that's what we're working on. We have a few other things we're working on too, but it's the save the date thing come out the other day. We're and Amanda, which I won't be doing it because there's yoga and I'm not going to wear yoga pants, but it's I will be in Thailand anyway. But she is working on and creating a puzzle weekend retreat in a smaller town in Ontario. We're looking at a small boutique hotel that's got, I think, 23 rooms or wherever it is, and we're booking out the whole hotel for a 2-day.
That is awesome.
It's a beautiful
Sounds
town.
fun.
Yeah.
And it's
Can we go?
you could be our guest speakers. It could be one of our events. That would be wonderful. We're trying to do something that's not just speed puzzling
Yeah.
focused. We're setting it up with a bit of puzzle chess, but also social puzzling. We want to, we've talked about doing things like sort of speed date puzzling type of thing, where having people where you switch every so often, and so you get a puzzle with new people and things.
That's
Just
kinda
things,
cool.
just things because not everybody's a speed puzzler, and I can attest to that. It's like I think I said earlier. Unfortunately, all of this was created 35 years too late, a little too slow now. But I'm excited to compete anyway.
So given that your population is spread out so far apart, how do puzzlers find each other and connect? Is it mostly through social media, through organizations?
Well, right now our Facebook page, we have a closed Facebook page, so you have to apply to join, and we just hit 3,000, so which we're quite happy with. We're roughly 1/10 your population. Like I think we just hit 40 million in Canada, so it's
Same as
actually
California.
it's actually a larger country than the U.S. But
Space
marginally, yeah. But
We
But
have a
it-
lot of ice.
Half of
Yes.
it's frozen.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
We have a lot of
well,
ice.
if you draw a line 100 miles north of the Canadian border, you would catch 90% of the population, and it's because it's warmer south. But
I mean, like, how did you find your team and stuff? Like,
I
how did
love this question. So at the first Canadian Nationals, the gal who came in second place is now my partner. So we connected after and we're like, hey, I think we both are a little fast. And maybe we should team up sometime, see if we have the right chemistry. Because you need the right
Yes.
chemistry,
Yeah.
right? And it worked. And now we're here. And then we grew our team to include another gal who had been at Worlds last year. And I met her here through there. And we kept in touch via Instagram. And then another gal reached out to us over Instagram. So Instagram's a big deal for the Canadian connections. And 4 of us are here as the A team. So we're ready to go.
I think you need to explain the A team to them.
I think it's before my time, Russ.
Yeah.
I think you should. Yeah.
Come on now. And there's a thing that and a lot of people notice, especially from the U.S., is that Canadians tend to say A a lot, like at the end of a sentence, like "How you doing, A?" And it's like EH, A.
I know,
like
eh?
we tend
Oh my
to
God.
put it on a lot of things,
Yep.
and so that's sort of the A team.
Also,
That's
With
right.
the
so
A.
not the A,
Exactly.
but the
It's a riff off of it.
Yeah.
It's very clever. It's
Yeah.
very clever. Yes.
So, and I'm here, like, and actually my sort of bucket list thing for me this year is I'm here with my daughter. And so we're competing together in pairs. And so for me, I've done puzzles, since as long as I could ever remember. And so to have sort of grown up done them on and off over the years, and now to be at Worlds with my daughter, who also loves puzzling, it's just sort of, it hits the heart spot.
Answer that.
Is there anything else you would like to tell people about the puzzling scene in Canada? Things you want to spread the word about?
Yeah, like how can people get in touch to find local shops and like
Join the
Join-
California,
join-
join the Canada Association.
The Canadian Jigsaw Puzzle Association Facebook group, although it's closed,
Mm-hmm.
they welcome posts like for swaps and more local competitions and try to make those connections, which is really helpful because we know we have one hub, even though there's other like there's a Toronto puzzle swap group and a whole bunch of other things, but we know that if it's posted on CJPA, it's number one, it's legit because you have to be vetted to join. But number two, it's encouraging these types of events to emerge and be celebrated. Yeah,
Because if people see other people doing it,
that's it.
they'll be motivated to try.
That's it.
motivated to do make their own swaps too.
Well,
Make their own groups.
one of the things we do, we reach out to, we try to have 1 month as one puzzle company. As an example, our September was Eurographics, which is a Montreal-based company. They supplied us puzzles for our 3 competitions online, and they're also supplying us the puzzles for our competition coming up October in Montreal. So for the month of October, they are our puzzle brand of the month. So we have one person who handles that online, and anybody who does a Eurographics puzzle, puts the secret code word on it when they do it, is entered for
our
giveaways.
local group in Southern California does that. They have a brand of the month and then a theme of the month.
Yeah.
And so you can do any puzzle in that brand or that theme. Say it's flamingos,
Yeah.
and then you tag the person,
Yeah.
and then you get a point, and then at the end there's a drawing for a prize.
Well, one of the things I found that, and I'll go back to when I found the original Canadian Jigsaw Puzzle Association page, and there was nothing on it, and nothing happened. Is that if you don't engage people, it's going to go away.
Yeah.
You've got to engage them, and in different ways. And like not everybody, like you say, as much as we all love to be the fastest puzzle in the world, but that's Devon. But oh, by the way, well, by the way, I would be amiss if I didn't totally congratulate both you two for your record achievement earlier this afternoon.
Thank you.
Darn, you have the world record on that puzzle, and I'm first to applaud
I
you.
can't believe that happened.
We heard the shouting and we said, that's US, isn't it? Yeah. I was like, oh, they crushed it. They crushed it. Yeah.
Tell us what you guys did to do that. How did you guys prepare?
Well, we just met the rest of the team this morning.
We had a couple of days of emailing where people sort of strategized
Nice.
and
A little
broke
bit.
the work up. So because 10 people,
Yeah.
many hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, so two people had the puzzles, so they broke it up into sections, and they gave our section.
We got a middle
We
section.
got it.
We got last
middle-
night.
We
after
got
dinner.
Oh, the
the
buildings.
city,
Yeah.
the city
Yeah.
part
So
last
last
night, and then last night we put it
The
together,
hotel room.
looked at it. Well, we're missing the edges though because somebody else got the edges.
Yeah.
And then we looked at it and we're like, okay, I
Right,
think we
right,
got it. And then we went to the thing, but there was a couple people on our team that had done it.
Seen the whole puzzle.
a few
Yeah.
times
Yeah.
and seen the whole
So
puzzle.
that's based on what people
fantastic.
knew, they broke it up and
Yeah.
make it.
They
And
just-
what was your strategy? You
I
guys, obviously, Canadian team were very proud, 3rd place, and still ahead of last year's world record pace. So, which is something we're incredibly proud of, or I am on behalf of our team.
I think it's
Tell us about your strategy.
We had very distinct roles and responsibilities. So we had a bunch of strategy calls, and then we even last night met in the square in Plaza Mayor and said, okay, who's going to stand where,
Nice.
and marked out our spots. And
we did
so
that real quick right
Yeah.
before we walked
2
in.
minutes before the doors open.
We're
as
like,
long
where
as
we
you do
stand?
it,
What are
right?
we- Yeah, that was actually last night was the first time I saw the image.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's been around a year.
I
but we
mean,
didn't
like I
have the
Yeah.
puzzle.
glance,
Yeah,
I've
fair,
seen it
fair.
from far away. I've never
Yeah.
seen it like
Okay.
up close and what was on it.
Oh,
but-
that was amazing.
I
that was
received the call from Alfonso. Do we want to put a team in? So I knew instantly this is
So
not
how did
me.
you select the team though?
What I
because
did
know-
was I contacted Devon. I said, "Would you like to lead this and head it up?" And she said, "Absolutely." So then what I
Can't say
did
no to
was,
Russ.
so I went back to our nationals from May and took all of the top finishers and singled out the ones that were coming to Worlds, and then sent her the list along with the times and stuff. And I said, you build the team. Up to you.
Yeah.
All I needed is we'll pay for shirts provided we get the nice big logo on the back,
We
and
did.
and have at her. And you know what? And
people were keen. They
Yeah.
were keen. They were excited. Only myself and one other gal have been to Worlds before, so we had nearly all new folks, and we gelled really, really fast.
That's
Gelled
awesome.
fast, and we said, you know what, we're not all experienced on this puzzle, but we're going to communicate our butts off. And
That's right.
I don't know if you saw us, but we would yell switch and then rotate around, and we had our roles, and we had a super sorter, Caitlin. So if you get to meet Caitlin,
We had 2
she's
sorters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
she led the little sorting squad, and we had our assemblers, and I timed it. I can get the edge down to like 12 minutes.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it was 12 minutes
Tiffany-
today, but
Tiffany
that too,
also,
yeah.
she said it like six times last night, and she said 11 minutes.
oh, good for her. That's
Wow.
hard. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, we.
But you guys were
tried
so
our best.
amazingly fast. It was like, wow.
No, but it sounds
Yeah.
like you guys had a good strategy going
Yeah.
into.
We felt like a cohesive team.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Right.
I think that's
So that was
important.
good.
I really thought you had second. I did, but then all of a sudden the other team, I think it was the German team, they
Yeah, they did
kind of
so
came out of nowhere.
well.
They sort of stuck up there, but it's
Yep.
but you were not far behind.
Well,
at all.
listen, we'll take it.
Yeah.
We are very proud of that. Yeah.
I think the event was awesome because everybody got to have a bit of national pride in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's up for you this week?
Just all the events, I guess.
Yeah.
Individual.
Anything
pairs.
special you're looking for? What any goals you have this week?
No, it's gonna be a tough year. There's so
Yeah.
many good puzzlers this year. I'm
Yeah.
just happy to be here.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna try to make it to finals this year. It was really tough this year. All the
My
US,
goal is
the
complete
new
the
US
puzzle.
competitors are like pretty fast.
They are
Yeah.
fast. Yeah.
So many
I
different
mean,
countries.
Alice
Joan-
came out of nowhere. National,
the young people, like the teenagers are so
Better
they have way
eyesight.
better eyes.
Yes, right.
Reflexes and
Oh well,
Brought a
that
backup pair of glasses just in case.
Yeah.
yes.
well that's what happened to us this year. The girl who won our individual Canadian championship this year, I'll be surprised if she's 20 years old. I don't know, that little Megan.
I know.
You know,
Oh, the young
yeah, she
Yeah.
just and
The
we never
energy and
even
the
we never even knew who she was, and all of a sudden she was there, and then she
Oh,
was
she's
just
great.
and she was
exactly-
just like,
Yeah.
whoa,
Yeah.
yeah. It was like Devon had to her crown. Had to,
Oh,
Listen,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
growing the community.
Well,
It's
I
attitude.
right.
actually
Yeah.
debated. I was like, hey, if I don't compete, no one can take my crown. I know I'm gonna lose, but so,
well,
Well, we won teams this year. in
yes,
Canada.
you did, and you did very well.
Yeah.
See, that the other thing is, I found, like I said, like you, why did I start this? Why did this? Because I want to get in and puzzle in a competition. I competed with my daughter in pairs in ours last year, just because we needed to do something in public together, type of thing. But I won't be competing. I don't. My brain was just not in it. I'm just too busy with too much stuff. So unfortunately, our Canadian championship, you'll never see me as a Canadian champion because I'm too busy organizing and running it. But
it's so much work. But
it is.
But it's so appreciated. It really, we would have none of it if it
Yeah.
weren't for you
Doing
and
it for
Amanda and the team.
the
Yeah.
whole country.
you
Well-
build
Yeah.
it for the future.
That's it.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not a young man. Like, and it's like I say, I told a man I'll give you 10 years and that's it. But it's like, and I said, but for me, it's a legacy thing. I said we've created the website, we've created the page. We're now working on our articles of incorporation and stuff like that, and creating the actual not-for-profit association. And I said, the only thing I ask is that my picture, as one of the founders, remains on the page
Founding
forever.
member.
Yeah, well, seriously, like it's for somebody who, like I said, to give you an idea. You don't know how old I am. To give you an idea, the last time I was in Spain was in 1975, and I had a big book in my pocket called "Europe on $10 a Day." So it's like, yeah. So for me, it's very much. So even coming here, I see this as much as a business trip for me as it is, or as a learning trip. Like, it's like, what can we do better? Like I said, we had an offer to be able to deal with a live stream, but it took me 5 minutes of looking at the setup and Val and everything else to say, it's just not in the cards this year. Even though we need a bigger venue. There's so many more things, so many more people that need to be involved to make that happen, that we need to take it one step at a time so we don't fall flat in our face.
Yeah.
So what about you? When is the next U.S. Nationals?
We do not have an answer yet. It's
Yeah.
still up in the air.
Well, Tammy also wasn't on the board.
No, I knew you
Actually,
weren't on the board
I
yet.
actually retired from the board so that I can have more opportunity to focus on competition while I still can. I need the glasses already.
Oh yes. Another thing I'd like to kind of quiz
Oh.
you guys a little bit about is I have another big idea in my head. Amanda gets so angry when I have these big ideas.
Everybody.
I would love to be able to create some online competitions internationally.
Uh-huh.
So that we can say, okay, whether it's sort of do some teams or some pairs, or whether we're able to get the same puzzle out to a number of different countries, and we're able to, so we don't have to come to Spain all the time. That we can have some kind of online competitions where we can have some U.S. teams up against Canada
Maybe
and
that's a
Sweden.
question for the World Federation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, this is.
But I
like
just,
this idea.
I'm only saying because I want you to get that up in here.
It needs a lot more coordination, or just with shipping. And
Yes.
Time zones.
Well, you should be able, if you use an international sponsor like Ravensburg or whatever, they should be able to get puzzles out to different countries in block, and then you'd have to get them
Yeah,
out
they would
from
have to
there.
sell it on their website,
Yeah.
and then somebody else.
Your Jigsaw Jam is almost supporting that because they're shipping to the US and they're shipping. I don't know
But
if
they have a
ship to Asia.
cap of 75.
Also, but they announced the date beforehand, so you have like 3 weeks to order the puzzle and get it shipped. It's much more. If you are planning it a longer term, you can give
Yeah,
it
you
a
do.
far
Even
more
our online competitions in Canada, we open our registration is usually at least 2 months in advance.
Yeah, if you give it more lead time for shipping.
But I think also because the way that Jonathan does the wooden puzzle is that you go to the artifact website and you order the
company
competition puzzle
handles
from
the
them,
shipping.
and the company handles the shipping.
Puzzle Twist does that as well.
Yeah.
That's
So if
brilliant.
we could do that
With a
for
company.
with a company, like if you go to the Ravensburger site, like I guess it would have to be North America and Europe.
See,
There's a
for
bunch
us
of
in
companies that
Canada,
will-
for us in Canada, I would work through Puzzles Canada and say, here's what we want to do,
It-
and
yeah.
have Ravensburger ship the puzzles right to Puzzles Canada.
Well, the thing is, though,
Then they would
I
then
feel
handle.
like that the thing with a specific country's business,
Yeah.
the shipping is a little harder because then you have import taxes.
Well,
and stuff
but
like
some
that.
puzzles online stores might be familiar with international shipping and they might be able.
But I was saying if we're working with Ravensburger,
Yeah.
Ravensburger, it's already a global company, so
Yeah.
they could they have warehouses in all over the
That's
world.
right, and you'd need to figure out how do you handle the logistics from them to the customer,
so-
because they don't want to ship a puzzle to 150
Right.
different
I think
individuals.
that would be something that they would figure out,
Yeah,
right? They would
that's
be
a
like,
hurdle.
you would,
Yeah.
they would create a puzzle for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they would be like, okay, North America should get this many,
Yeah.
Europe should get this many, and then there,
Logistics.
Yeah.
and then.
logistics.
But
Well-
I would just say that I would assume that the company would assume that responsibility to figure out where, because like all the North Americans would go to Ravensburger North America
Yeah.
site.
Yeah,
right?
I say if they see we could either do through there, or in our particular case, I could have them shipped right to Puzzles Canada,
Right.
and then I
And then
would
just
pay,
do from
and then
there.
I would pay Puzzles Canada. Part of your registration would get it then shipped
But
from
then
Puzzles
how
Canada.
do you make that worldwide though? 'Cause
Well,
Puzzle
like,
Canada
we
is-
would,
different
I think
companies.
I think we would need a contact in each country. That, for instance, to say if you said, I'll handle the U.S.
Yeah.
or whatever it is, you would be the contact. You would figure out how to distribute in the
Try-
U.S.
like
I would figure out how to distribute in Canada.
The
Once
major
we've got it set, then it's like, okay, let's pick a date, let's pick a time, let's pick a puzzle,
You
and
need a lot more lead time. You need
Yeah.
a lot more
Yeah.
logistics. But I think there will be enough interest in something like this.
Yes.
I'm interested.
well,
I mean, World Jam
because-
is already like that, kind of.
Well, because they are online distributor. They know how to handle the logistics
Right.
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
one of the reasons I think about it, I say is because we've got a lot of really good puzzlers in Canada that unfortunately probably will never be able to make it to Worlds, because unfortunately it's whether everybody's only got just so much sort of vacation
Oh, yeah.
budget type of thing or whatever it
And
is.
money.
Yeah, well, exactly. And sometimes it's just I've only got so much money for
I
vacation,
feel
so
like this is something the World Federation should look
Yeah.
into.
They don't
Yeah.
have the bandwidth.
I know, but
for
if
something like that.
you have a president and vice president, the president and the vice president is from Australia.
True.
Yeah.
Two
Too.
tennis
Yeah,
fans
man.
of the world.
I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like they just need to fill out their board a little, and they could do it.
yeah.
They need to find
Yeah.
maybe it's one in each continent.
Yeah.
Ish. Australia, Asia,
So they need
Europe,
They need
US,
America,
North America, South
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
We do
If
have
they-
people in all those countries, though.
I
Yeah.
know. Yes.
Brazil is
They
covered.
just need to flesh out their board,
Yeah.
and then
See what I told you about having all these
Yeah.
ideas?
So I think it'll work.
Yeah.
This is. I think it'll be a really great niche to fill.
Hmm?
I like this idea.
Well, like I said, the reason I'm thinking, like, is I'll look at my partner in the CJPA, like her as a high school teacher. She said it's
still
just.
recording.
She said it's not possible for me, really. She said for me to go, she said I have to take unpaid days, so I
Yeah.
lose my salary to go, and it's just not easy. So she said
technically,
chances. She said the chances of
where
me.
I don't get any paid days off.
Yeah.
True.
So
Yeah.
Actually,
same.
I work in it. I have the best job I've ever had. It's called retirement. I
I
always
get-
tell me it's the
yeah.
best job I've ever
I get
had.
0 paid days off, and I get 0 sick days off.
But so and some people just they said, you know, it's just not it's not available for me. But is there another way that I could compete internationally without actually having to go?
Right.
So it's
Well, for right now, it's Speed Puzzling EU
yeah.
until your dream comes true.
Yeah, well,
I think Italy was trying to do it, and then I asked them, and they couldn't handle the international shipping.
yeah.
Yeah, because international shipping gets really complicated really fast, which
Yes.
is why I was like, Ravensburger obviously knows how to do all the shipping
Yeah.
But
already.
there
'cause
could be
they're a
some
global
online
platform.
stores that know how to do it already.
But
Yeah.
I think
What-
I think Ravensburger obviously would be the company that you'd probably have to deal because they're so worldwide.
Yeah.
And whether they're able to say, all right, like you said, yeah, how many puzzles go to Australia, how many go to New Zealand, how many go to, and whether they would
And
probably
they-
handle a block or whatever, and then somebody in each area would then have to, whether it's Australia, whether it's Dion and her team, whatever, say, okay, we handle our registration, so on and so forth, getting the puzzles out and so on. So I think you need
A
all
network
those
like that.
little pieces around that feed into one
Yeah.
central hub.
All the pieces of the puzzle.
There we go. There we go.